Joining us now in an exclusive interview is U.S. Interior Secretary Doug Burgum. Secretary Burgum, really appreciate you rejoining us. You famously said kind of a few months ago that, quote, knowledge used to be power. Now power is knowledge. You're highlighting how all the energy and electricity needed to actually run AI is so critical. How do we make sure that that lives here in the United States? What can you, your department, and your team do to make sure we win that?
Well, it's not just my incredible team here at Interior. It's also the whole of government. Energy policy touches virtually every agency, and that's why President Trump created the National Energy Dominance Council, was in part a response to his understanding that we needed more power to win the AI arms race against China. And of course, having an opportunity to help serve as chairman of the NEDC, the National Energy Dominance Council, we are working on looking at policies. We're looking at public lands. We're looking at everything we can do to make sure that we're driving energy prices down at home, increasing supply for AI. And then President Trump working alongside of Secretaries Bessent and Lutnick in Commerce and Treasury, driving energy diplomacy around the world. Jameson Greer, our great trade representative. I mean, President Trump is stopping conflicts all over the world. So it's literally peace abroad, prosperity at home, win the AI arms race. It all starts with the energy policy of the Trump administration.
What do you make of Nvidia having this massive conference in your backyard in Washington, D.C.?
Well, I think it's super smart on their part because in the last administration, there was an anti-energy policy. The Biden administration left behind essentially a plan where we were going to be continuing to shut down electricity production in this country, trying to replace reliable, affordable base load with intermittent, highly subsidized, weather-dependent sources of electricity. You can't win the AI arms race. AI needs 7 by 24 by 365 power. So does America. So does advanced manufacturing. So under President Trump, it's been a 180-degree turn. And we've gone from a year ago at this time, Brian, there was an LNG export ban on in America. Now we're facing this country just in the 10 months, first 10 months, 25% increase in LNG exports. I just met this morning with virtually every ambassador from the EU in one breakfast. All of them are basically saying, hey, thank you, America, because LNG exports from the U.S. to the EU have helped to place their purchase of Russian gas, and taking away Russia's funding source for the war against Ukraine is how that battle is going to end. And so, again, literally, peace abroad, prosperity at home. We're delivering it here thanks to the incredible energy sector that we have. And they're the group that's also going to provide the power for these AI to support these the market capitalizations of these big tech companies that are based on AI. They need electricity.
Which are all literally based sort of right around where we are sitting right now in San Francisco. I'm going to get to that in a second. I want to go back to your meeting this morning. Did your EU representatives, did they indicate the ability and the willingness, because they're different things, to buy more U.S. gas, to buy some U.S. oil now that there's new sanctions on 2 huge Russian oil companies?
Well, yes, and the EU is committed to stopping their purchases of Russian oil and gas. They're more serious about it than ever. They've accelerated the timeline to do that. What we have to do, and we talked about this morning, particularly in Eastern Europe, is make sure that we're building the infrastructure. If we can ship all this LNG out of America, they've got the ability to receive it, but then we've got to get the pipelines built, particularly into Eastern Europe, call it the North-South corridor. But, you know, starting up north with the Baltics with Poland and heading all the way down to Greece, Croatia, and everything in between, we've got to have some vertical north-south pipelines. Right now, those pipelines are running east to west. They're carrying Russian LNG. These countries, particularly the landlocked ones that can't take LNG off of a ship, we need to help them build the infrastructure they need, and certainly the capital is there. Europe's committed $750 billion of energy related. The NATO 5% goal that President Trump got all these countries to agree to, 1.5% of that 5%, 3.5% is defense, 1.5% is infrastructure. They've got the capital to help build that infrastructure. Chris Wright and I are going to be in Europe again next week at a big conference in Greece. again, talking with all the energy ministers that are there, making sure that we get this infrastructure so that we can export more. And then talk about Asia. You know, we've got deals being signed as we speak, as the president is traveling through Asia to buy Alaska LNG when the Alaska LNG pipeline is completed.